So in this question, I want to make a comment about the question in the main stem where they're saying, how long will it take for B and C alone to complete the work? I think this is ambiguous. I would instead phrase the question along these lines, that how long will it take for B and C working together? I think this is key. That needs to be there at their individual constant rates to complete that work. This kind of makes it seem, or at least my reading is that we need to figure out the time it takes B alone to do the job and C alone to do that same job. And there is a certain ambiguity. And so I think this needs to be rewritten properly. At least this is my sense. But let's go over this question because this is really what they mean is what's the combined. How long does it take B and C together to complete the work? So let's go into the question where it says that they can complete this piece of work in 6 days, which means the combined rate is 1/6 of a job per day. If their individual rates are RA, RB, and RC, where this is again fraction of a job per day, then that sum is 1/6. So that's given in the main stem. And what we need to figure out is that if we knew their combined rate, how long would it take to do that job? So start with statement 1. It says A is twice as efficient as B. So that means the rate of A is twice that of B. And then rate of B, because it's 3 times as efficient as C, so that would be 3 times that. So you can see that from this, I can figure out the rate of B is half that of A. And then if I combine these two equations, you will get RA is 6 RC, or RC is 1/6. Now, you don't have to do any of this work because you technically have 3 equations, 3 unknowns. We can figure out RA, RB, RC. I'll just do this work quickly. Sometimes, when I know it's D or I want to make sure that I'm interpreting everything correctly, I will do the work. And generally, these calculations are not that difficult. So if I multiply both sides by 6, I would get 6RA, 3RA plus RA. So that would become 10RA equal to 1, or rate of A is 1/10. So from this, I can figure out the combined rate of B and C would be 1/6 minus 1/10. And that would be 4, 6, 10, 2, 3, 5. So 1/15, which means it will take them, B and C together, to do this in 15 days. So 1 alone is sufficient. Again, I do want to emphasize, you don't have to do any of this once you recognize that you have enough equations. Statement 2 says the time taken by A to do 9 units of work would be the units of work divided by rate of A is the same as the time taken by B and C together to do 6 units of work. So 6 divided by, this is the combined rate of B and C, and this is equal. So from this, you can see we can figure out RB plus RC is 6/9 RA, or 2/3 RA, or in other words, RA is 3/2 RB plus RC. You'll see why I'm doing this. Now, we still have that equation. Now, right now, we have 3 unknowns and 2 equations, but you'll notice that I can replace RA, and because we need RB plus RC, the combined rates, not the individual rates, I can figure that out. So RA is 3/2 RB plus RC, and then we still have this RB plus RC, which if I add those two algebraically would be 5/2 RB plus RC. And then that means RB plus RC is 2/5, 1/6, and you'll see I do get 1/15, same as in statement 1. So sometimes I do this work so that in case my interpretation was wrong somewhere, that will become clear. For example, if I had a different value here, then maybe I was interpreting that information in statement 2 incorrectly. So it helps me do that, but certainly there is a cost in terms of time and effort. So 2 alone is also sufficient, and that's, I think, why I also wanted to comment that this phrasing needed to be more accurate. I think it has a little bit of ambiguity. And I also want to comment that this question is new, meaning this has been written by the new writers, and I've seen that they're not as precise as before. So this is, of course, an issue for students taking the real GMAT, because what if you encounter this question and you're thinking, are they saying each of the individual rates for B and C I need to figure out, the time it takes them? And that's why I wrote this, to say that this is probably would be a more accurate description of what they're trying to say. So to summarize, each statement alone is sufficient. The answer is D.